This is the story of a chef who loses his job and finds his passion for life again. The film begins when Chef Carl Casper is cooking in the kitchen with one commis chef. Due to the lack of ingredients, he goes home to pick up his son Percy and then goes to the market. Now, Chef Carl is in a rut. Once one of the hottest young chefs in the country, he now works as an executive chef in Riva's restaurant in Los Angeles. Riva is a suit and believes in playing it safe menu-wise. A powerful and snarky food blogger, Ramsey Michelle, is coming to review the restaurant. And Carl wants to put on a snazzy new menu to wow the critic, but Riva wants him to stick to the current menu. That night, Carl drinks in the pub and reads bad reviews of the blogger. Carl has a strained relationship with his tech-savvy preteen son Percy and his rich ex-wife Inez. Carl is outraged by the bad review, but everything gets worse when he hears from his line cooks Martin and Tony that Twitter is buzzing about the nasty negative review. Carl asks his super cute and precocious son Percy to set him up on Twitter, and a monster is born. Carl decides to reply to Michelle's review, but instead of sending a direct message, which is private, he sends a public message attacking the critic. When Carl is cooking for his son, everything blows up, and Carl is suddenly an internet folk hero of sorts. Carl tweets a challenge to Michelle, telling him to return for dinner, and that he'll have a special, creative, and snazzy menu ready. But Carl neglects to inform his boss, and they get into a huge row over taking chances. Riva does not understand the restaurant is full because of the internet flame war. And the two men bicker, and Carl storms out in a rage. At home, Carl prepares the menu he wanted, while his sous chef Tony serves Ramsey the same dishes from his prior visit. The second dinner does not go well. Michelle comes and slams the restaurant, as well as the chef's portly form. Michelle is angry that Carl's promise was unfulfilled and tweets him in an insulting manner. Carl soon bursts into the restaurant and pops his cork in a classic rant. The tech-savvy customers film the exchange on their smartphones, and the whole thing goes viral. Carl is now unemployable, but only until the mess blows over. Viral fads are soon forgotten. Carl's ex-wife Inez wants to help her ex and get him to spend more time with their son Percy. Carl travels to Miami with Percy and Inez on a business trip for her. Carl is there to play Mr. Mom. Percy is thrilled, and Inez has ulterior motives. They then meet Abuelito, Inez's father, and Carl rediscovers his love for Cuban cuisine. Inez throws her two ex-husbands together, and ex number one, Marvin, has a proposal: a food truck. Carl accepts the offer and goes to work with Percy cleaning up and restoring the truck. And then they buy groceries, and Carl gives him a chef's knife. Martin, Carl's friend and former line cook, turns down his promotion at Galois to join Carl, who has reignited his passion as a chef. Chef then becomes a thoroughly delightful comedic road picture as Carl, Martin, and Percy drive the truck across the country to Los Angeles, serving Cuban sandwiches and yucca fries. The truck becomes El Jefe. Percy is a Twitter prodigy and promotes them on social media, and they find success in New Orleans and Austin, where their daily specials include po' boys and barbecued brisket made with local ingredients. Their food truck becomes popular all over the internet. Carl and Percy really get to know one another, and the boy becomes a pretty darn good little line cook. Back in Los Angeles, Percy checks in with Mom, Inez, and it becomes clear that Inez may want to get back together with Carl. The road trip is the heart and soul of Chef. The nasty critic Michelle visits the truck to explain his bad review. Though an early fan of Carl, he was disappointed by a meal he felt was beneath Carl's skills. Michelle eats Carl's Cuban food and is impressed with the chef's return to form, so that he offers to bankroll a new restaurant where Carl will have full creative control. 6 months later, the successful new restaurant is closed for a private event: Carl and Inez's remarriage ceremony.